Stranger Things Season 4 came out in mid-May, and ever since, it honestly hasn't even left my mind. And now Volume 2 comes out in less than a week on Friday here in about 5 days. And there's so many theories floating around. I just made a theory in my recent YouTube video if you haven't checked that out. And today I'm going to talk about the 3 main characters that I think are going to die in Volume 2. Now, spoiler warning, the Duffer Brothers recently said that there's going to be more than one main character who's going to die. Now, the definition of main character gets floated around, it floats around there a lot. But in my opinion, it's someone like, that's been in the entirety of season 4 or more. You know what I'm saying? It's not someone who's been in there for 1 or 2 episodes or, something like that. But I have 3 people who I think are going to die. And I'm going to talk about why for each one of them. The first one is, well, before we get into it, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. That's all I got to say for that. But the first one is Eddie. Now, he's actually one character that I honestly want to die in this Volume 2. Not because I don't like Eddie. I think Eddie is arguably one of the best characters in the show right now. He's played his character amazing. And by the way, if you didn't know, he's actually, in real life, he's British, and he can do like hundreds of accents, which is insane. His American accent is amazing. But I think this is the perfect opportunity for Eddie to end his character's storyline in an insane way. So basically, we know that Eddie is like he likes music and everything. We know in the trailer we saw him with the guitar. And we know that music prevents people from dying from Vecna, right? Anybody's favorite song. So what I think is going to happen, and this theory's been floating around on TikTok a little bit, I think that someone's going to be in the trance, in the Vecna trance, and they're going to be, Eddie's going to go in the upside down with his guitar, and that's where that scene comes into play, and that's where Eddie's going to be playing whoever's in the trance's favorite song, and Eddie's going to die while he's saving and sacrificing his life for the other person who's in the trance. I think if that happened at the very end of Volume 2, I think that'd be the perfect way to end his character's storyline. But then again, I wouldn't be mad if he continued to, be in the show. But personally, I think that'd be a great way to end it off. And it makes sense for him to die. I don't know. It makes more sense for him to die than other characters to die. But he's my number 1. He's who I think is the first person out of the 3 characters who are going to die. In my opinion, he's the main character, obviously, because he's been in the show for all of season 4. He was in the first episode of Hellfire Club, and he was basically in it throughout the whole entire thing. So I think Eddie's the main character. The second one that I'm going to mention is Murray. Murray is a fan favorite. I love Murray, but it's almost like this is the one where I'm like, okay, maybe, but it almost seems too obvious that he's going to die. You know what I'm saying? Like when it seems too obvious, you think they probably won't make him die. But there's a few things why I think this. Number 1, he's always the one like putting himself first or whatever and sacrificing himself or whatever. And number 2, it shows him with the flamethrower like fighting something in the trailer. And number 3, somebody's gonna die in that at that Russia base. It's just gonna happen. It has to happen, and it would make sense for Murray to die. That wouldn't make sense for Joyce, and definitely not Hopper to die. And someone said Enzo, the guard. I don't classify Enzo as a main character personally. So I think Murray dies saving Joyce and Hopper or one or the other in that mission. I think his character's been built up to die at the end of this Volume 2. But then again, I don't really want him to die because he's a fan favorite. And, I don't know, dude. It's hard to tell. It feels like it's been set up too obvious for him to die already, but we don't know yet. So he's number 2. Eddie was number 1. And the third character who I think is going to die in Stranger Things Volume 2, a big character. A very, very big character. Max. And the reason I think she's going to die is because, she found out the music, helps her or whatever get out of the Vecna trance, but I don't know. I feel like they have to have one of the big main characters die, and I don't really see anyone else being fit to die besides Max. one other person that I thought maybe could take Max's place in the third person who's gonna die is Jonathan. And I'd rather have him die than Max, but Max is already getting, messed up with Vecna. How her death would go, I don't know. But the more I think about it, the more it would make sense for her to live because they defeat Vecna and then Max is free or whatever. But then again, they already sort of did that. So that's why I'm like, okay, maybe she won't survive a second go around or whatever and she's going to die. But I don't know. My third person is Max. Could be Jonathan, though. That's kind of where I'm at. The only thing I'm not for sure about is how Max would die exactly. But we know what her storyline's been. We know her history with Vecna. So, I mean, anyone who gets tied up with Vecna is probably not going to survive. But it could be a situation to where she makes it to the very end and Elle defeats Vecna and then she lives. You know what I'm saying? But who knows? Anyways, those are my three main characters. I think Eddie would be a perfect death. Murray's death makes sense. And Max's death would be, it would make sense, but it would also make sense for her not to die. And then, Jonathan would, I don't know. I've heard some things about Jonathan, and, people are saying, oh, this character's not going to die, this character is going to die. So it's hard to, tell. But they said main characters, guys. And Eddie and Murray are main characters, but I feel like they're not, main characters. I think it'd be a huge deal to see someone who's been in the show since season 2 or season 1 to die, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think Steve's gonna die either. I think Steve lives. I think Steve is one of those guys where he was a bully, he turned into the nicest guy, and now for karma for being a bully, he's gonna have to watch his friends die. I think that's how Steve's storyline's going, and I think that's how it's gonna end up. So Eddie, Murray, Max. Let me know if you guys have any different ideas of how these characters are going to die or if they're going to die. And let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.